Okay, we are now live on air, which is fabulous. I
Just
don't
in
know if
case
we're waiting.
it's on.
Lovely. I don't know if we're waiting for anyone else. I've got limited apologies, but we'll give it a couple of minutes while I accept various questions. If anyone has any. Um, in the meantime, we'll do introductions because introductions are fun. So we'll just go along the various people. So introduce yourself, who you are, your role, and what your role entails, because that's a nice way to introduce yourself and your capacity. And I will just go along my screen, so no particular order. We'll start with Ali.
Hey, I'm press officer, so I write blog posts and news posts and manage the press subcommittee, and do social media stuff sometimes for the news and the press. Do some graphics. Yeah, and stuff. Oh, sorry to say.
No, that's fine. You've been just introducing yourself. Aaron.
Hi guys, I'm Aaron, or known as Ranji. My role's a treasurer, so that kind of entails all the money side of the Young Greens and like fundraising, so stuff like the quiz at conference. Is that it? Yeah, that's pretty much all I do. I think, yeah.
Fab. Hannah. Hannah Claire.
I was Snapchatting. Hello. Well, I wanted people to watch, you know. Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm co-chair of the Young Greens. My role involves the general keeping the organisation going, and also representing the Young Greens on the Green Party executive.
Lush, thank you. Hannah Graham, if you're still there. I'll take it as not, so I'll just go to Paul and we'll go back to Hannah Graham.
Hello, hi, I'm Paul and I'm the membership and trade union liaison for the Young Greens, which means I can look after all the groups and all the student groups and all the membership related things, and also anything trade union related as well. Send it my way.
Lovely, thanks, Paul. Sam?
Dobro Vice, this is Belgrade calling. Hi, I'm Sam. I'm the other Young Greens co-chair. I'm currently out in Serbia with Tarek, who is the international officer. Tarek's not actually here at the moment. I'm trying to get hold of him. And we've been talking to Serbian Young Greens. Perhaps that will come up later if you have a question. And I help Hannah with the tasks that Hannah has mentioned previously.
Fabulous, thank you. And last but certainly not least, Hannah Graham.
Hiya, I'm Hannah. I am events officer. Yeah, I think that's basically a good description, really. Organised events, called Young Greens Convention at the end of the year, and recently picked up safeguarding officer for the trip to Brussels.
Amazing, thank you. And I realised I hadn't introduced myself. I'm Tom. I'm Structure and Procedures Chair, so I'm hosting this fairly informal Q&A session. So we'll start off with just some questions that we've had submitted so far, but obviously anyone's welcome to submit questions throughout this. It will probably go on for 30, 45 minutes. So questions can be submitted through Twitter with the hashtag YGQA for Young Greens question and answer, or they can be emailed to spcchair@younggreens.org.uk. So the first question is, what are the two key things that you've been working on over your term since you've been elected? So I mean, we'll go randomly in order. So we will start with Paul.
Okay, cool. Two things. The first one, which I've been doing with Hannah Claire as well, is affiliating all the green groups, or Young Greens groups rather, because that was a motion at convention that groups, as in like all the towns and cities everywhere, have to be officially affiliated, like groups are officially affiliated to the Green Party as well. So we've been going around messaging people and saying, hello, you're a green group, do you want to be officially affiliated? Let's make sure you've got all the resources and structures that you need, have a Young Greens email address if you haven't already got one, all the things that make the groups function properly and efficiently and make us look professional and brilliant. So it's ongoing actually, because it's a massive task, as you can imagine, because it's the whole of the country, whole of England and whole of Wales as well. So it's a lot, but we're carrying on. So that's point number one. Secondly, and in progress again, is the Get Organised campaign. So that's the trade union hat on, if you like, and the Get Organised campaign, that is just all about raising awareness of unions amongst young people and amongst the Young Greens, and the actual documents that we've got on it are a few years old now, so we're going to update that. We're going to try and get that updated in time for the Trade Union Congress Young Workers Forum meeting thing, so that's really exciting as well. So yeah, that's the two things from me.
Amazing, thank you, Paul. Hannah Graham, do you want to go next?
Yeah, okay, no worries. Okay, so since I became elected, what have I been working on? Two main things. I would say actually the event that's going to be posted tonight, so keep an eye out for that. It's taken up quite a lot of my time recently, and that's going to be an event in February the 25th in Cardiff, all about getting elected. So if you want to learn about campaigns, how to be a councillor, fundraising, how to become elected, then make sure you come on to that. Look out for it tonight. That's taken a lot of my time, because I found out that finding a venue for an event is very difficult. After Hannah Claire, who does it all the time. And the other thing, just recently, I've been working quite a lot on is actually conference. So organising the buddy scheme for conference, volunteering road fair. Because obviously a lot goes on behind the scenes, things like running the Young Greens stall, things like that. So if you do want to help out and you're going to conference in Liverpool in March, then please get in touch with me. Thank you.
Fabulous, thank you, Hannah. Next, let's go to Ali.
I would say like the blog is the main thing. Trying to get lots of blog posts on there. Yeah, I feel like I do lots of little things, really big projects. Blog is a big thing, like sorting out my subcommittee, that's very linked to the blog. But yeah, those are two things I sort of exposed energy on. Or like messaging the thing, but that's sort of like a big project, maybe not. Yeah, blog, subcommittee, messaging.
Cool, thank you. I don't know if you cut out slightly there, but I think I managed to get most of it over. Maybe, I don't know, sorry. Fabulous, okay, let's go to Hannah Claire.
So a lot of the work you do as co-chair is sort of organisational admin stuff, but you do have big projects as well. One of those has been, as it always has been, 30 under 30. So we finished off the 2016 cohort, and now we're organising the new cohort. We did all the interviews for those applications, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to bore you. The second thing that I've been working on is getting the return of Young Green staff member, and those of you who've been paying attention will have seen that the recruitment for that closes on Friday. So I wrote a business plan, wrote the job description, made sure that was passed through the executive, and then have been organising sort of the process now to interview.
Lush, thank you. Then we'll go to Aaron.
What was the question, like the two things I've done? Because you kind of cut out.
Yeah, so what are the two key things, if you can make it two key things, that you've been focusing on since you've been elected?
The first one was kind of like just general treasury business. So like I'm in the midst of like booking the Brussels trip right now, sorting out the PayPal with Diane, who's in the finance office. So just kind of like, and sorting out expense claims. So that's one of them. And the other will be freedom of movement campaign, which is like what me and Sam, kind of like late night phone calls with Sam, thinking about ideas and stuff for that. So yeah, they're kind of the two main things I've been doing at the moment.
Thanks, Aaron and Sam.
I've got a special guest with me who's just arrived.
Would that be Tarek?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, Tarek.
Do
you want to just quickly introduce yourself?
Role as well.
Yeah, my name is Tariq Khan. I do the international duties for the Young Greens of England and Wales. And if the Wi-Fi or my voice or anything messes up, it's because the Wi-Fi in Belgrade is absolutely rubbish. So yeah. Should I give my report now as well before Sam's, or?
So the question is just what are the two key things that you've been working on your term so far? So feel free to launch straight into that if you want to. Yeah.
Right. I wouldn't say there's two key things. It's like a couple of things. Basically, it's number one is strengthening relationships with the Federation of Young European Greens by trying to get people engaged with them and going for the events and stuff. So I went to AltaCop, and because I went to AltaCop, AltaCop is basically the Federation of Young European Greens alternative and parallel workshop at the COP22 and all of the COPs. So having attended that, I have to give a presentation on the outcomes and expectations of those meetings in 2 weeks' time at the YoFest, which is also a EU Parliament event for young activists and politicians across Europe. In addition to that, it's been doing work and reaching out and strengthening our relationships with groups that are not part of the EU. So that's Norway and Switzerland. And we're also in the West Balkans at the moment, trying to work our way into a project that could be approved by the Westminster Foundation. Yeah, that's it. There's other stuff, but those are the two main things.
Great, thank you. And Sam, if you want to do your two key things.
Yeah, so other than the 30 Under 30 project, which is really Hannah's been doing and leading most of the work on that and has been doing an amazing job. Other than 30 Under 30 kind of developments, I've been working with Aaron, as Aaron said, on the Freedom of Movement campaign, and we're working towards hopefully launching it at Spring Conference. Then also at Spring Conference is going to be the Global Young Greens. So we've been working hard to come up with a good social program as hosts and looking at ways to connect our Young Greens group with the Global Young Greens when they arrive, and organising that as well. And then we've also, Hannah didn't mention it, but Hannah did an amazing job and has got us a staff member that we are currently recruiting for. So in the next few weeks, our big priority is going to be getting that staff member interviewed and in place as well.
Fabulous, thank you, Sam. The next question is, has been submitted, and it's when people reach 30, can they still be connected to the Young Greens in some way? In particular, has anyone to give to that? So feel free just to message hands or wave with your cameras if anyone has any particular opinions on that. So give an answer.
If I have to. I mean, I think there's a reason why we stop at 30. I think it's because, you know, the issues that you have when you're 30 are very different to the issues that you have when you're, you know, say 13. And so, you know, there is a cutoff point. But that's not to say that we don't need your support and we don't need your help when you sort of get over that age. We get a lot of people who were former Young Greens who give us financial support. They also sort of run workshops at our events, and we're always willing to see people do that. We're also sort of, you know, things like conference, for example. It's really great to work with the people who used to be Young Greens with motions, or with, for example, our buddy scheme that we run at conference that Hannah Graham mentioned. Having former Young Greens with that is really helpful. But in terms of our events, unless you're running a workshop, unfortunately, you can't come. Our events are a safe space, so we remain them for Young Greens only. But I hope that's answered your question.
Fabulous, thank you. Does anyone else have anything that they want to chime in on that question, or is everyone happy? Everyone happy? I presume everyone's happy. Fab. Okay, the next question is.
Before we go on, could I talk about the co-option?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that if all the great things that we're talking about tonight sound really fun to you, then perhaps you might want to consider joining us. Unfortunately, recently, Lauren Davis, who was our social media officer, has had to resign due to sort of other commitments, but we're really thankful for the time that she gave to the executive committee. But now we have a position open, so we've opened a co-option. We are specifying that we would like someone to be our campaigns officer. Yeah, you send in a little statement to the co-chairs, and that closes next Friday. You can get all the information about that on the front page of our website under the news section, so please do.
I think you just cut out at the end there, but I think the general. Thank you very much. The next question I have is, what have been the key challenges over the term that has passed? Yeah. Does anyone have anything that they particularly want to say? Any particular issues or challenges that have term started that they want to raise or talk about at all? Obviously, if there's been no challenges, that's also fine. That's better. But yeah, Aaron.
Did you say Aaron? Because I can't hear you. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Probably the main challenge that I faced is kind of balancing schoolwork and that side of it with Green Party work. So as much as I'd love to be committed to the Green Party all the time, and you kind of get, you know, you run away with ideas thinking, oh, I love the Freedom of Movement campaign, but I've got an exam tomorrow. So that's kind of been the biggest challenge, I'd say, for me personally, doing the Green Party work. And then kind of, yeah, as I wouldn't say there's many other challenges I've specifically faced.
Cool, thank you. Tarek through Sam?
Challenge, it's just something that's also a bit frustrating at times. We're lucky to have a very well developed inclusivity and accessibility sort of structure within our Green Party. But when you come to other events, it's not the same. So in terms of not just timetables, like in the past week, we had a timetable from hell, having sessions till like 10:30 at night, getting up early in the morning. Also, when we went to Marrakesh, the accessibility in terms of if I'm, well, privileged enough to be able-bodied to a certain extent, but other people I know within our party wouldn't be able to attend such events and benefit from them. So these are just the challenges I've experienced out of our party working with FIEG and CDN, but hopefully it's going to change soon because we're going to propose a motion at the General Assembly this year, which is going to make them better.
Cool, thank you. And Alice?
I would say like one of the challenges that probably isn't spoken about as much is like the sort of emotional stress sort of just activism in general can have on you. Like I started out in the EC and like I still am, like, you know, you feel positive, make a change in everything. But world events can literally, since the Trump inauguration, like, I haven't been as active because I've been feeling hopeless and like full of despair, and every time I watch the news I just want to switch it off. And yeah, the emotional toil that just basically comes from is hard, but supportive group is extremely important, and taking time out is important. These are sort of good ways to feel better and hopefully I'll be feeling a bit more positive. But yeah, that is, I think, for me, the biggest sort of challenge to my work and how much I can contribute is definitely the emotional impact of what we're doing, what we're fighting for, really. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Hannah, Graham?
Yeah, one of the biggest challenges I've had, it's still ongoing a little bit as well, is actually getting an event subcommittee together. So I'm gonna advertise it again on the people listening. If you want to be involved in organising Young Greens events, because I think that's really exciting, and have a hand in organising convention at the end of the year. If you'd like to join my event subcommittee, then please get in touch, because there's still a couple of places available on that too.
Cool, thank you. And we've got Sam.
I think one of the biggest challenges we all face on the committee is about trying to find the right balance in work and life. It's really important to remember that we're all volunteers and that we're all trying our best to do things and also put as much effort in as we can into events. And it's been difficult. I mean, there's been some members of this committee who are working in excess of 21 hours a week to produce Young Greens events, which is an absolutely amazing commitment. But when some of us have full-time work as well, it's really difficult for us to, I suppose, find that balance and make sure that we're producing things that are the best that they can be. And I'm just really thankful to be on a committee with so many people who are willing to put so much of their own free time alongside their jobs to actually do things for a cause that they all believe in, and all of them inspire me, and it's such a privilege to work with them all.
Thank you, Sam. That's really positive. Thank you. Let's go with a more specific question that we've got. Sam, you mentioned it earlier about a staff member, and I wonder if maybe you or Hannah or any of the members could talk about how the reintroduction of a Young Greens staff member would change the way that Young Greens works for specifically for the average member, not just for how committee works, but how will that actually Young Green members. Hannah, did you want to start off with this one?
Yeah. So yeah, I think for me, a staff member is so important because, like, I work full time and then I get home and I do 3 hours of Young Green stuff on average a night. So for me, it's about taking that off me. But what it does to an average member is there are a lot of projects that that I would want to do, that because I keep the organisation running with all the work I do, I don't get the time to commit to them. So firstly, it's about they can take some of that day-to-day running of the organisation, meaning that we can be more effective as a result, because ultimately there's someone full-time dedicated to making sure that our organisation runs smoothly and provides things for you, can support you if you want to get involved in any way, or can perhaps send you some information to help you get involved, etc. But also because they can take on some of those projects. So, for example, one of the things that we put in the job description is about FE and school-age children, because it's a huge area that the Young Greens traditionally, we haven't really, we quite often get university students. I mean, we were lucky, this committee, in that we had 2 people who are still sort of under 18 who could help us with that area. But in the past, it's been very university, or sort of people like me who've left university led, and having someone who can spend some time doing some research into that and finding out, how can we support people in those areas? How can we get more people involved in those areas is one thing they can do. There's other stuff, membership engagement, they're going to have more time to deal with. So ultimately, I think the organisation will fundamentally change. You know, in the past, we have had a staff member, and what you've seen is that there's been more output because they've been able to produce more, and it's been less reliant on a group of volunteers who, you know, sometimes it is hard to be a group of volunteers running an organisation like this, particularly when there's so much expectation of the Young Greens, because, you know, we're the Youth Winger political party and people expect us to be so professional and expect us to be a certain way, and sometimes that's really difficult to volunteer. So I guess for the everyday member it will be more output and, you know, more support, and then exploring other ways that we can get people involved. I sort of rambled there, sorry, but I'm just really proud that they're coming.
No worries, thank you. I think that was a useful answer. Did anyone else want to chime in at all on that issue? Give a few moments. Any other thoughts, or are we all happy? Okay, the next question that I've got is, could someone outline the key campaigns happening or will be happening in the Young Greens? Do I have any takers? Hannah, is that you say that you want to... do we have anyone you want to talk about it? Sorry?
What was the question again, please?
The question was, what are the current and future campaigns that the Young Greens are going to be running?
2.5 hours, you can tweet hashtag #JoinUpJanuary.
Talking of tweeting, you can of course tweet hashtag YGQA if you do have any questions, or email spcchair@younggreens.org.uk. And from Sam.
So just to introduce what's happening with the campaigns, obviously priority that was voting out at conference was to do a campaign around freedom of movement. And as mentioned before, myself and Aaron have kind of come up with some initial ideas, and we've also formed a subcommittee called the Freedom of Movement Subcommittee that people are welcome to join and be part of our Freedom of Movement campaign. The campaign itself is going to be taking two aspects. One is going to be more looking at this issue of freedom of movement and perhaps migration in general and migrant rights. And the other aspect will be focusing on Brexit negotiations and trying to campaign for freedom of movement to be part of that, although the current climate means this is going to be quite a challenge. I'll let Aaron kind of introduce, perhaps Aaron, if you want to introduce some of the ideas that we've talked about and that we'll be bringing to the campaign.
Yeah, so we've got like the slogan so far is what is it? People, not numbers, because migrants are often described in numbers, but not kind of like the faces and the actual stories behind the migrant journeys. We've got that conference, as we said, is going to be a launch event. We've got a few ideas for that, and we kind of want to make a kind of like an impact there. We want to, you know, people to show how kind of stupid the migrant kind of like the rules to get into Britain and other countries, you know, how it's so hard, and the vetting process, how sometimes it's ridiculous, and how sometimes families are split up from each other because of these rules. So that's like one of the aspects. And obviously we've got the Brexit negotiations. So we're going to have like a discussion, and I forgot the two MEPs who we're going to have on the panel. But we're going to have two MEPs on the panel. We're going to talk about freedom of movement and kind of campaign for it, you know, as we kind of seem to be the only party who's 100% behind it. And I personally think it's a key aspect of the European life.
Fab, thank you, Aaron. Sam, do you have a hand?
Yeah, just to follow up as well on a couple of points. The first and most important thing we want to say is, if you're watching this and you don't have British or you have dual nationality, or you yourself are a migrant, we would really love for you to be part of this campaign, and we want to make sure your voices are heard. This is essential to how we're doing this, because when we're campaigning on issues like these, it's an important chance to give voice to the communities most affected by. Myself and Tarek are currently in Serbia, and Serbia is at the front line of the current refugee crisis that is happening across Europe. And we actually met with the Danish Refugee Council today, and as part of our meeting, we talked about some potential positives to highlight as part of our campaign as well, that we're going to be discussing when we come back to the UK tomorrow. So there's plenty of opportunities to get involved in our campaigning, and it's going to be a really exciting time. We've also got German MEP Terry Reinke, who is a Green MEP who is actually part of the European Parliament's Brexit negotiating team, is going to be coming over for in the next few months to visit regional Young Greens groups and talk to them about what issues surrounding Brexit impact them. And we're also hoping to have those events open as well for people who aren't Young Greens to come and join the discussion, and also find out a bit about our stance. So look out for that happening in an area near you soon.
Amazing, thank you. Hannah, do you want to talk about anything in particular?
Yeah, thanks, Funny. I've been sort of pollinating an idea that we should be doing a bees campaign, because I think the bees need to be saved, but like most people aren't taking that as seriously as I am. It's a really serious issue, obviously. I think there'll be some stuff around that conference. But one thing I did want to say is, going back to what I said earlier about the co-option, we are co-opting for a campaigns officer. So if you are interested in campaigns, then like absolutely stand for that, because you can help us lead. You know, Aaron is leading the freedom movement, but we've got some ideas that came from convention about a mental health campaign, and also you know, bees, and sort of any other sort of groups that you want to get us involved in. Yeah, and you know, if you do want to find out a bit more about us and our campaigns, then I'm sure, you know, you'll catch us on an event. We'll be buzzing around at conference, so that'll be a chance to find out more too and get some updates.
Thank you, Hannah. The Young Greens truly is a hive of activity. So, last question, unless we get any outlet, kind of focuses for you within your individual roles, term, as far as you can see from this point. Go through people I'll go for the reverse order that we introduce ourselves. So Aaron, if you wanted to start.
Could you repeat that, because like I didn't understand, I couldn't hear a word of it.
Oh, that's really sad. Is that any better?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So I just said the question was, what will be your key focuses for the rest of your term?
Probably the freedom of movement campaign. Like, I'm really excited about that. First time I've led on a campaign. It's hopefully the event at conference will go well, and then also fundraising. So obviously conference is a big opportunity fundraising wise. See how we can keep on raising money, but both the kind of fundraising and freedom of movement campaigns are my two key things I'm looking to kind of do before my term ends.
Amazing, thank you. Sam?
In terms of the focus for the rest of the term, I guess 30 under 30 is going to be a big thing, and I'm really excited to have the opportunity to work on this project, which is something I'm learning a lot about. Also, Global Young Greens is coming up soon. That's going to be super awesome. I'm excited to work on the Freedom of Movement campaign, to have the new member of staff. There's so much going on. There's so much I can talk about. It's going to be a really exciting time. But most importantly of all, I'm looking forward to saving the bees, because they're very important. And We just need a bit of sugar and honey in our lives. Nectar. The sweet nectar of development. I don't know if you want me to pass it over to Tarek, who is beside me.
Yeah, pass it on to Tarek.
Hello. So, having an international subcommittee, we're going to take on a variety of volunteering roles, and being one of the delegates as well to vote in line with our views and our wishes for the new constitution of GYG. Also at the General Assembly to influence FIEG's constitution and also stand as a candidate for the EC. Other than that, it's Brexit time, so we are trying to have a summit with Northern Irish, Scottish Young Greens and ourselves, wherever we can get funding to have it in the best place possible, and also to have talks with Norwegian and Swiss Young Greens as well to decide what we're going to do in our future. Apart from that, this Westminster Foundation trip, we'll give you more of a report, in-depth report on it later, but we do hope something comes of it as well.
Amazing, thank you. Hannah?
Yeah,
Claire?
so I sort of had 3 quite clear priorities when I reserved for co-chair this year. The first one was staff. The second one was about getting Young Greens elected, and luckily I've got, Hannah Graham working on the Young Greens election event, and 30 under 30 kind of counts that as well, but also the staff member will be doing some work on that according to their job description. But the third thing was about making sure that all the groups within the Young Greens were communicating with each other, and I think we made quite a few strides so far. So now we invite, for example, a member of the Senate or a Liberation group to EC meetings once when they occur every fortnight, so they can report on their activities and they can hear what we've got to do, which is quite good for ensuring that we're finding out what's going on with everyone else. But also we hosted a residential at the beginning of the year, well, November, the beginning of our term, where everyone came together to work on what we call the TAP, which is a team action plan. And in that, we've looked at all the things that we want to achieve as the Young Greens and as Young Greens groups, and looked at how we can deliver that between us. So now sort of I'm moving less into a do everything role, as I have been currently, and more into a strategic role. I'm organising the TAP working group to make sure that the goals are delivered. And Hannah on EC is also on that as well. So we'll be sort of focusing on that really, and making sure that, that we can achieve the priorities of convention and also work together. So it's that communicating and stopping working in silos that I'm really looking forward to doing some work on.
Thank you so much. Ali?
I would say that getting some national press is one of my goals. Some people on my subcommittee are really interested in sort of targeting the comment section of The Guardian and seeing if we can get something in there. I wanted to put something out to other online news outlets and stuff for a little while. So yeah, targeting news outlets. A podcast was something that Sam and I wanted to work on. Really good. So that would be my second one.
Great, thank you. And Hannah Graham?
Yeah, so like I said, there is the Get Elected event coming up in Cardiff on the 25th of February. We have Spring Conference, Global Greens in March, which I'll be working on, and we also have a third training day coming up. The next one after that will be all about Target to Win and how to tailor campaigns to areas, basically the next step on from the Get Elected campaign day. Hoping to run 2 more training days before conference. One hopefully targeting at purely under 18s and FE. Hopefully the new staff coordinator will be able to help me with that as well. Then we've got autumn conference, and all this time helping out with the TAP working group, the Freedom of Movement campaign, and 30 under 30 events. Hopefully to come along to some of those events as well and do some training. And finally, at the end of the year, Young Greens Convention, which is the most exciting of the lot.
Great, thank you. And Paul.
Cool, yeah. So I need to make sure for my remainder of the term that everyone is buzzing about trade unions. That's what I want to see. So I'm going to try and make sure I won't rest until every young green is with their respective trade union. And when we relaunch that Get Organised campaign, I think we can really like push on with that. It's going to be a very interesting one for me actually in the next sort of month or so, because the new officers coming in, which is really important, they will take on some of that membership side of things, which actually could be fantastic, because if they're taking on a lot of the admin stuff, maybe we can. When I was elected, it was all about, I mentioned a lot about getting working class people involved in the Green Party, and that was like my thing. And obviously the union stuff ties in with that. And so maybe I'd like to start to focus on that, which I think is something that I can do for the remainder of the term.
Amazing, thank you, Paul. And while you're there, for the remainder of the session, we have had a request from the Young Greens membership for you to do a short excerpt from Shakespeare. So please do proceed. You did offer this, so it's only fair that you do actually go ahead with this and do a few lines of Shakespeare.
Yeah, you've called my bluff. Oh no. Okay.
About the Young Greens, though, it's got to be relevant.
It's a relevant Shakespearean monologue to the Young Greens.
Hamlet is right.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh my god. Now you put me on the spot. I'm trying to think. What could I? Oh, I've gone shy.
we can do some Shakespeare. I'll do some Shakespeare if you want.
Go on, Sam. You kick us off, and I'll.
If music be the food of love, play on.
Was that Shakespeare?
Yeah, that's Shakespeare. That's like the beginning of one of the plays. Well, don't all clap at once.
Fab. Right, okay. On that note, unless someone else feels desperate to recite any Shakespeare, Paul's let us down, but we forgive you. But otherwise, I think we're more or less done. We don't have any questions at the moment from any of the various forums, so I think that is us over. Thank you so much, everyone. Yeah.
I just wanted to say, if you've enjoyed this Q&A so much that you want to view another one, tomorrow the Young Greens Senate, who are representatives from our regions and Wales, will be doing a question and answer session too, and that's at 6 PM tomorrow. And also apply for our job that closes on Friday, and apply for our committee that closes next Friday.
Fabulous. Thank you, Hannah. Yep, all of that. We'll have another Q&A tomorrow. Thank you all. This will be on YouTube, so it can be watched and recorded.
I've got a good end line. Yeah. I've got a good Shakespearean end for you.
And to end the broadcast, we've got Paul with Shakespeare. Go.
Parting is such sweet sorrow.
Oh.
There you go. Finny.